What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another great edition of No Love Philly, the podcast dedicated to artists, activists, musicians, comedians, breweries, basically anybody who makes the city of brotherly love as awesome as it is. This podcast is awesome as fuck. We caught up with Drea and Devin with an O. From Lockjaw Media, and what Lockjaw Media is a boutique PR firm and booking agency. We talked about internships, what they do as a boutique PR firm and booking agency, why the record label is dead, what their agency can do for your band, and I get schooled on ASCAP, BMI, and other PROs. Did you know what a PRO is? I had no freaking idea what a PRO was until these girls let me know what it was. I really honestly think that they are very knowledgeable with what they do. They seem really in tune. They really know what's up. They have experience doing it. These were two really awesome ladies who really know what the fuck they're doing. So much so that I think I need to hire them to do my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, website because I am horrible at it. By the way, make sure to like us on Facebook, Instagram, follow us on YouTube, and check out our Patreon page where we have packages as low as $1. These ladies were awesome, man. That's all I can say. I truly believe that they are on the right track. I really hope that that more bands are listening and they sign on for a service like this, because to me it's amazing. And I can't go on enough about how much I think that they really know what they're doing. And I would, if I could, I would hire them to do it, because they are that awesome. So without any further ado, here is Drea and Devin with an O from Lockjaw Media. Check. Yeah, I think we are. We're live.
Cool.
All right. Awesome. So we are here back again in South Philly. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and tell me what you guys do.
Awesome. My name is Drea.
And I'm Devin.
And together we started Lockjaw Media, which is a boutique booking and PR agency.
And I got to tell you, I'm super stoked about this interview. Like, as soon as when you emailed me, I was like, yes, I'm legitimate now, right? So, like, it actually felt good that somebody, used the email and did that. So I was super happy. And then when I found out what you guys were doing and all these cool things that you guys were putting together, you guys did a festival yourselves, right? It was and that was for like mental health. Is that correct?
We put on a little DIY styled fest that was. It was over 3 different DIY venues, and it was a benefit for Punk Talks, dealing with mental health awareness.
All right. So how did you guys, the first thing I want to talk about is how did you guys get started? How did you, how did this form? How did this get together?
Well, I guess it...
You'll probably have to hold that super
sorry.
close.
Sorry. I guess I came up with the idea for it a little over a year ago. I went through a rough phase in my life, moved to Boston, thought it would get better, got even worse, moved back, and I was dealing with my own mental health issues, and I had a particularly rough time, and I was looking for a resource, and I found like a really great directory to find a therapist in your area through Punk Talks. And then that also kind of goes within the fact that I was thinking about something I wanted to do to kind of like start my career in music. I was a music business student at the time, and I'd always like put on a lot of local shows, and I did a lot of music blogging and music journalism. So I'd read press releases that like bands would write or had their friends write, and it was awful. There were times where I was having to email bands saying like, okay, this is cool, but what's your name?
Wow.
So it got a little bit much, and I decided, I'm like, well, I do these 2 things. Maybe I could just start something with it. Devin was my roommate at the time and has a background in marketing and PR, so we thought it'd be great for us to team up on the project together.
Yeah, I was looking for something in Philly that was PR focused, and there's not too much music PR that I've found in Philly, besides like the major companies. There's not a lot of boutique PR things happening. So when Drea approached me about it, I was very into it and down for the business.
That's awesome. So did you go to school for PR?
We both went to school for the same thing.
Okay.
We
Go
went
ahead,
to
go
school
ahead.
for music business, entrepreneurship, and technology. But
By the way, lost my fucking mind when I looked on your profile. I was like, "That's a major!" Like, wait a minute, hold on. What did I do with my life? Like, what happened? So, I want to know. I honestly want to know what your experience was in college going for that major because I mean, it sounded too awesome. Had I known that was a major when I went to school, I would have done that. But go ahead.
Well, that's a major that puts the BS for bullshit in Bachelor's of Science. But I don't know. It's a weird major. I was dead set on it. I don't know if I'd necessarily do it again because it just feels like it falls into like one of those useless degrees. But it really is a major that like you can make it whatever you want. We were able to choose our own course load at school, so we could make it either more like electronics based, like there's audio electronics classes, circuit bending classes, Arduino, like anything you could imagine. There's also like booking, promotion, artist management, recording. If I didn't say that already, there's live sounds. It's like anything that you could possibly want to do within the music faction they have. There's also a bunch of different music theory classes, advertising, anything basically.
So what did you focus on? What was your focus while you were in college? What were the things that you really like?
I was kind of all over the place. I went into college thinking I wanted to be an audio engineer and was taking a bunch of audio classes, and then I realized I'm really, really shitty at being an audio engineer. Then I took some time off of school, and then I came back and really focused on advertising for the most part.
yeah, I'd originally gone to school up in New York for I forget even what my major was called right now. It's like arts business, arts management. And then I was there and I was like, I only want to do music related things. So I transferred into the program and really just focused on marketing and like the way venues work and anything business related.
Did you learn a lot from that experience, from learning about how like venues work and things like that? Go ahead.
That helped a lot with like understanding the day-to-day of how like the live music industry works, as opposed to just purely like business, we're gonna market this way and do this that way. Like I knew how the thing that I was marketing was functioning, and that helped a lot.
Yeah, I will say that classes that focus specifically on music business do help a lot. Because the music industry is completely different from any other business. Yes, it is a business, but I just came from working in an office and I was like almost overdressed in just jeans and a nice shirt. So it's like a whole different monster than regular business. So it really does help to be taught by people who have worked at venues for their entire lives or who are like practicing entertainment attorneys.
And you did. I was stalking your Facebook page a little bit. You did a lot of booking as well for. You were a booking person for one of the clubs. Is that right?
Yeah, I went through. I guess it was a little over 6 months. I was the assistant booking agent at the Fire.
Dude, that's awesome. So did you score that through like? Did you score that through like an internship through the school, or is it you just hit them up and were like, "Yo, dude, I want to do this"? Or
not even that. I happened to know the person who was doing sound and most of the production management there, and they needed a door person for a little while, so I did that. And then the main talent buyer one night when I was doing door, he was like, "So, what's your story? What do you do?" He didn't even know my name. I'm just like, "Oh, like I put on local shows and stuff like that." And then he said he just wanted me to be the assistant booking agent there. So I did that for a little while. Yeah.
That's awesome. Something you just fell into.
Yeah, I did. It was a really weird time. I was definitely way too young to be doing it.
Oh, really?
But I was doing it. Now they're all going to hate me because they never asked how old I was and would let me drink there all the time. But I was 20 when I started in that role.
It's not too far off.
I was like 19, 20. So
right.
around there, yeah.
I think that's kind of common with everybody in this scene. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? That like at least at that age. Here's what I would do. So when we would do venues and we would do different shows, I would know that like there would be a couple bartenders that would card me. So what I would do is I would go and I would find an empty beer can. right? And I would go and I would pick that up, and then I'd walk to the bar and I'd be like, yeah, let me just get another Budweiser. And then they would serve it to me because they were under the impression that somebody had already served me. So it always worked for me, but I'm pretty sure that's common. Have you worked for any clubs, or have you done anything?
I did an internship with a like electronic more kind of venue. They were very into electronic music and like EDM. And I did marketing and promotion there, and that was really interesting because
I'm sorry, you're gonna have to hold that closer.
Like EDM was never like a genre that I was interested in or knew anything about, and being thrown into that environment and having to learn like who these artists were and about them to be able to help them market the show and promote the show was really interesting.
Were you able to fight through that?
Yeah.
Do you
I still don't hang on to it as much, but it definitely helped me grow a lot.
That's cool. I'm a fan of electronic. I'm a fan of all kinds of music, so I would imagine that would have been super cool. You guys are talking about being a boutique agency, and you said that you're not like some of the larger ones around here. What are the larger ones around here?
There aren't really any booking agencies based out of Philadelphia, which is almost mind-boggling, especially when you consider how Philadelphia has really become a mecca for music.
For real.
Especially within the past 5 to 10 years. There's so much music coming out of here, all different types of music. And it's been crazy seeing the transitions, because Philadelphia was mainly known as an R&B, rap, soul, jazz city. And now there's so many independent rock acts coming out of it. But to the point where a lot of the old heads in music don't really understand. We had applied for a couple of grants for Lockjaw. The main goal is to incorporate it and make it become official. We're not there yet, but I've been looking into it. And we weren't given the grants because they said independent rock didn't have a foot in Philadelphia music.
What?
Yeah, it shows how wrong it is. But there aren't really any major booking agencies run out of Philadelphia. They're all based in like LA, New York, Nashville. There's even some, I believe, out of like Seattle, Chicago. There are a couple of smaller boutique booking agencies based in the Philadelphia area. There's Fada, who in the day used to book Hot Water Music, Chuck Reagan, I believe even Face to Face, and a lot of like really awesome punk acts. And they used to be based in Philadelphia proper, but have since moved out to the suburbs. But yeah, right now there's not a whole lot in Philly.
That's crazy, because I mean, there's a market here. You know what I mean? Like,
for real.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am obsessed. I'm obsessed with this, what I call the Philadelphia New York corridor, because there are so many bands from New York that come down here to play, and so many bands from Philly that go over there. And you would think just that alone, that tunnel, that corridor, there would be like somebody in the middle to help navigate these bands to like, here, let's go play this show, or go talk to this person, or go do that, or here, let me get you your press release out to X amount of outlets.
Right. Yeah. There really needs to be some more people helping that out. I know so many New York bands that they just can't find good shows in Philly, and so many Philly bands that are having a lot of problems in New York. It's gotten to the point where I know a lot of really great artists that have just made friends in New York doing show trades, so they do that a lot. But there's not a great resource for Philadelphia and New York bands to kind of link up together.
Dude, that's crazy. If you all corner that market, I mean, I think you guys are going to be like on top, you know. So it's pretty awesome to see that. Now, you're also doing an internship. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Where is that at, and what are you doing?
I don't know if I want to talk about this. I just started a week ago. I don't really know if it's in my place to say too much about it. But I'm interning with kind of a large scale promotion and media company based out of Philadelphia. And it's funny because it's kind of right now a bunch of different companies sort of merging together and doing a thing. And one of them happens to be a New York-based company merging with a bunch of Philadelphia companies. So I guess that really does tie into this.
Wow, that's crazy, man. And so you're doing like you're learning tidbits there, you're being able to apply it, and you're kind of just getting your groundwork and figuring that out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of spreadsheets. It's definitely a lot different than the DIY scene, but the DIY scene definitely does apply to like real life music. And Yeah, it's
You're
awesome.
You're for sure gonna. It sounds crazy, and it's a bummer having to do like the spreadsheets and all that.
Oh,
but
I love it.
do
I
you
love
really?
it. It's so great.
Really? Anything that's paperwork related, I generally hate, and so. But you're gonna need it. You know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
mean,
Like,
I get to just sit there and research music all day. It's fantastic. Just see what's trending, what's going on, like what's the best way to engage with people on social media. When should those social media posts go out? When do people mostly see it? It's awesome.
dude, I suck at social media, and I'll be the first person. We were talking about this the other day. Is that I will spam the shit out of these groups. Like every time an episode posts, I'm like in this group, in that group, in this group, in that group. Because honestly, I don't know any other way to do it.
That doesn't mean you're bad. That means you know how to do it smartly.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought I was like, you suck at this. Like I could just see my Facebook profile. Like Shane shared this one post 11 times, and it's like, yep, I did that. You know. So what do you? So how did you guys go from this idea, right? From an idea into linking up with bands and getting them to subscribe to your service and to say, hey, I can do this for you. How did that start?
Well, Devin's amazing at marketing, so that definitely helped out. But there were a couple of bands who I had booked tours for them in the past and gone on a couple of tours with them, and I knew that they were planning on touring soon. So, like with that band, Goddammit, I've been helping them with touring and merch off and on for I guess the past 2-3 years now. So I knew
Before
they
you even had the idea of
yeah,
doing this.
exactly.
Wow, cool.
So I
all
knew
right.
they were about to plan a tour to support their album that was released this spring. So I was just like, hey, I'm starting this company. Let me just book your tour right away. Like, I want to do that.
Plug that album. Why? I mean, why?
God damn it, recently released I'll Never Be Okay, I'll Never Be the Same. It's out on Jumpstart Records. It's really great. Listen to it. They're fantastic.
I haven't heard it, but I'm telling you to go get it. 'Cause that's what I do. Right?
So I booked the tour supporting that. They went all the way to Wisconsin and then back to the East Coast. So that was a lot of fun. And then I knew Manic Pixie just from, I happened to be friends with Kat, the lead singer. So I planned their most recent tour. And then they had told some friends about us. And like I said, Devin's great at marketing. So we were able just to link up with a bunch of people.
Those not familiar with Manic Pixie, we got to interview them, and they were awesome. They were a lot of fun to interview as well. So you can check that out. Since we're doing shameless plugs, you can check that out. They're, I think, number 3 in our 5-part series of underground house shows. So, and then, so what are your each respective roles?
Well, I'd say I'm more like marketing and PR.
She also built the website.
Built the website.
Which was nice, by the way.
Did like some graphic design-ish things, web design stuff. Yeah.
And then I've handled more of the business end and business planning aspect of everything, as well as spearheading the booking and PR movement. Devin has handled the PR for the company itself, and I have been handling taking on artists and doing the PR for our clients, as well as handling more of the booking end and like operational end.
So what are the services you all? So somebody might, we're talking about a boutique PR agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
But somebody listening might not quite understand what it is you all do. So what services do you all offer bands?
Yeah, so we offer booking short runs for bands. Typically, that's anywhere from like 7 to 15-day tours. That seems to be a really, really great like time span for developing acts to tour, and we really try to work more with developing and mid-sized acts because we want to be able to grow with our clients specifically. So of course, when we're a little bit older, we hope to have some more established acts. But right now, I love working with the bands playing in basements that want to play basements in other cities. So we do that, and then we also offer PR services. So we send out press releases to different publications. If a band is playing a show, releasing a new album, has a new singer, music video, anything like that, we stay in contact. We help set up interviews for them, get them to do live sessions, podcasts like this one. We got Burned Out Still Glowing to do a podcast.
That's right. You can also check that interview out.
So yeah, that's just kind of basically what we do, and it's a really good platform for artists.
I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
No, I think you got everything pretty much. Yeah.
So what is when you're looking at this, how do you want to grow it, or what is it that what is the end goal here?
I think the end goal is to really, really have a platform that can support an artist's career in every function manageable. In a couple of years from now, I definitely want to have a management faction to Lockjaw as well. It's definitely not there yet. But yeah, the entire idea is to just be able to take a band and help grow their career to where it should be and needs to be. And like I said, we really want to like work with our artists and client development and grow with them.
So what would you say the major difference is between a label and a PR agency?
Well, traditionally a label existed to give money to artists to record records and put that out. We don't have any foot in recording or distributing music. That's not what we want to be. But I do feel that a combination booking and PR agency kind of is the future of where a quote-unquote label needs to go to, because bands can independently distribute their own music now. When I was like 17, I tried to start my own record label, and I just used iTunes, or I used TuneCore for everything. I had one release. Didn't last very long, but I was able just to do everything myself through a different platform and distribute to every single major streaming service that way. So the traditional idea of a record label is dead. It's been dead for almost a decade now. People need to get over that and realize it and find something else. And I think it's a really great wild frontier for music right now. And I think Lockjaw can definitely help fill that void a little bit in the community.
Dude, I think it is so smart. Go ahead.
I don't know what I was gonna
Okay.
say. I feel like I knew what I was going to say.
So I feel like that is so smart and insightful that you see that you're like, you know what, I think that the record label is going to be dead because they're used to fronting money so that bands can go record. But with the recording being so easy and available to anybody who has a laptop or, you know, a couple of mics going on.
Right.
The hard part is finding these gigs that are paying, right?
Right, exactly. Touring has become such a huge money maker for bands, and you see bands just touring constantly, and there's so many bands that want to do that and don't know how, or just don't know how to play the right venues, or like what type of promoter best suits them and everything. And that's kind of where like Lockjaw comes in.
And not getting ripped off by
Yeah.
promoters and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
That's got to be the worst, to be like out on the road somewhere. You know, you're promised, I don't care if it's $50 for that night. That's what's supposed to give you gas when you get to the next show. And these dudes are like, hold up, let's talk. I didn't do so well. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, no, I've tour managed a couple of bands before, and I have had to sit in a room with the promoter until 2:30 in the morning, just standing over their arm being like, hey, so you're writing us that check, right? Like, we are getting this check. And then like having to make some phone calls, but eventually getting us the money. And it's not fun being that person just sitting in a room with a promoter staring at them until they finally fork it over. But yeah, I mean, Lockjaw necessarily isn't that person either, but they definitely make sure that all the agreements are put into place and put into writing beforehand.
So some of these promoters can be shifty, and obviously you're young, right?
Mm-hmm.
So is that intimidating at all? Like being like, yo, there's some 300-pound dude that's supposed to write us his check and he's not coughing it up. I mean, I don't know what your experience was, but is it intimidating at all having to be that person and be like, yo, you're going to pay us tonight?
I mean, most people definitely aren't expecting it when they first meet me, but I'm kind of no bullshit, and I'm just like, this is happening. And the cool thing with doing Lockjaw and even just being the tour manager and advancing things over email and on the phone is most people don't know how old I am or what experience I've had. And I try to think that I come across as more professional than most would assume for my age.
I would agree with that 100%. Like, there's no denying that. I mean, I think that you're 100% capable.
Right.
It's just, I would assume, it would just be intimidating having to be that person and be like, you have to be the muscle.
A little bit, but I have a lot of fun with it.
Cool.
I love telling people no. I love bossing people around. That's why I do what I do. And I've been working in music off and on since I was 14. So I've definitely had a couple years under my belt, just kind of being in stressful situations and learning to know how to roll with the punches.
That's awesome. So before college and before doing the EDM internship, did you have any experience at all with like music, shows, venues, booking, PR?
I mean, I didn't have any like businessy side of it,
Super
but
close.
I was going to shows every other week with my dad, like, and not just like, you know,
That's
the typical
awesome.
like dad shows. It was like going to see like these new up and coming bands that were coming out of Philly.
That is
him
so
and
cool,
him
man. What an
exposing
awesome
me
dad.
to different types of music that helped a lot shape what I want to do with my life.
That's
and
awesome. So
working in music.
are both of your parents totally like, yeah, do it. Make this happen?
No. My parents are completely different. They never said, well, they did say no to music, but most of it was like, if you can find a way to get there, fine. And if you can find a way to do music, then do it. But they love me and they're super supportive, but like taking me to shows was not something they wanted to do. When I was just turned 16, I started interviewing for Dying Scene, a punk website. And I was just going to shows constantly, and I would get press credentials to all the shows, and I'd always get a +1. So there was some older punk dude at my high school, covered in tattoos, had facial piercings. My parents were like, well, if he can give you a ride, sure, then fine. They didn't care. They never met him. So I would give him my +1s to all the cool punk shows, and he would just give me rides to all of them.
That's awesome. Way to make that work. I like that.
Yeah.
So what are you guys able right now to make a living doing this? Or
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
How long do you think it would be until you're able to do that?
I'm not sure.
How long would you like it to be until you're able to do that?
I would love that I was able to make a living off this now, but Devin and I have completely funded every single expense for Lockjaw ourselves. That includes having, business emails. You take emailing for granted. You think emailing is free all the time. Even though we bought the domain name, being able to send emails from @Lockjaw Media is wildly expensive. So Devin and I front all the costs ourselves for everything. Which thankfully we don't need an office space, so it's not a bunch. We kind of can just run things out of our separate houses, coffee shops, etc. But ideally, I would think that maybe within the next 4 years, Lockjaw Media could be profitable.
I hope to get to interview you guys in 4 years, and that we're all sitting pretty. So here's what I want to talk about next. So I was online on the Philadelphia DIY Collaborative, right? You guys know Brian? Do you all know
Yes.
Brian Walker? Okay,
Yes.
Brian Walker posts up this thing and saying, hey, man, for venues or for bands, if you didn't know, if you played a venue and you are a member of ASCAP, that you can get paid royalties because you played there. And then somebody else was fighting and saying, oh, well, that's wrong. I've seen whole venues, or whole scenes die because of that. And I get that aspect. And then there was another comment that kind of bothered me. And that comment was that if you're in the DIY scene for money, then you're completely wrong, which I find odd. Because everybody that I've interviewed and everybody that I've talked to have all said, I want to do this for a living.
Right. Well, all in all, music is a business. It's an industry. Artists should be able to make money. People working with artists should be able to make money for putting so much of their effort and time into it. People really, really need to start viewing music as, yes, a really awesome and amazing creative field and has done so much good, but that people should be compensated for their efforts and their time and their art. But the ASCAP thing is wrong, especially within the DIY community, because, yes, you can make money from if you're with ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, whatever. through their licenses, but so many of those artists play in venues that don't have a license and will get shut down if they try to file that.
Okay. So how
like
do
I
you
can
think that
say
people
that
should
even
go-
like small bars like the Fire didn't necessarily have their license and we're getting cease and desist orders. So of course places like the Pharmacy and other house venues in town won't have those either.
So what do you think? Where do you think that where's the line? Where's the boundary? Who should you know pick up those charges? Or what are the thoughts on that? I mean, somebody's got to pay, or should it exist at all? Should the BMI ASCAP, any of that? Should it even be a thing?
Oh, it should definitely be a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it helps protect everyone. It helps make sure that artists who survive off of touring get paid for having their music played. That because ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, they all also monitor what stores are playing, because technically a store can be making money from like, if a business is making money while a song is playing, they have to have that license.
Really?
Because it can be seen that they're making money off that artist's song.
Whoa.
That in some way that song influenced someone to make a purchase of some sort. It also helps with like karaoke versions of songs and things like that.
So who do you think should be paying that? Everybody that does a karaoke night? Or, I mean, who should not be tailored that fee, and who should be?
I mean, I think legal venues and any legal business should be paying that fee, of course.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I was agreeing with that. I think that if you're a legal venue, then that definitely is something that you need to be paying to help artists. But I feel like in the DIY scene, where it's almost seen as like a way to help a lot of artists get to that point of playing these official venues, that I don't know if it's necessary in that respect, but definitely artists need to be compensated somehow for, playing a show or doing something, whether it's through the venue or like ASCAP, BMI.
So the other thing that I don't, so I'll be 100% honest and say I don't completely understand the way that it works.
Most people don't.
Okay, so
like even most people within the industry, have worked within the industry for years, don't.
Really?
Yeah.
So here's the way that I understand it, and you can tell me in all the ways that I'm wrong.
Okay.
Right? All right. So a band pays ASCAP, right? They pay, what is it, like $100 entry fee or something?
I think with ASCAP it might be $100, or it's $50 for a songwriter and then $50 for a publisher. There's two different factions.
Yeah, I saw Chance the Rapper trying to explain publishing and music writing, and he was like, it's the most ridiculous shit ever.
It is a little bit ridiculous, but it does make sense in the long run.
Okay. All right. So then the artist pays that, right? Now, a venue is supposed to, if a venue is a live venue, they're supposed to be paying into.
Yeah, live venues have a blanket fee. They just pay, I forget if it's annually or monthly. There's a fee that they pay that covers the catalogs of every artist on that PRO.
Okay, so how much is that fee, give or take, for a venue?
I'm not sure. I think it also varies on the size of the venue and how many nights a week that there are live music or that they're playing music.
So, okay, all right. So the price can be dependent on the size of the venue and how many nights that they're having music. But that would also mean that they would need to be paying for BMI, ASCAP, and who else?
CSAC.
CSAC. So they would have to be paying fees to all of these people, right?
Right.
And there are like more PROs popping up.
Yeah, there's a new one that just started that I forget the name of too. It's odd.
Yeah.
What is a PRO?
Performance rights organization. So there are three major ones. There's ASCAP, and then there's BMI, and then there's CSAC, which is a little bit different. CSAC is actually an international organization. Most of them just function within one specific country. And CSAC you have to be invited into, and there's only about, I think, like 12% of the world's artists are signed to CSAC, but most are signed to ASCAP or BMI. And then there's another one that Devin and I mentioned that just started, that the name is escaping me right now. I think it's like GRM or something like that.
I don't know, but I remember hearing about it like really recently.
Yeah, that definitely popped up within the past 5 years. The other ones are over 40 years old.
Wow. So what are the benefits for a band to sign on to a PRO?
I would definitely highly recommend an artist signing to PRO if they haven't already. It is essentially a really easy way for them not to only make money off their songs if it's getting played on the radio, if it's getting streamed a lot on Spotify or a different streaming platform. You're also copywriting your music because you're registering it. So in case someone tries to steal your music and, takes that really awesome guitar riff that you wrote, puts it into a song, then that song gets super popular. There's records of your song having existed already because you're registered. So it's a really, really great way to just kind of copyright everything.
So do you have to submit every month? Do you submit every year, or every time you put out a new work, you submit that to them?
Yes. It's super easy. You just include the name and I believe like an MP3 file or something.
Wow.
Yeah,
Right.
and then they have a database of everything.
So we're talking about performer rights organizations. How else do these organizations look out for artists aside than? Oh, actually, my first question is how much does one, like, if your song is played one time on the radio? I mean, how much is that going to allot you? To get
Nothing.
paid? Nothing.
They'll let you to nothing. But things do add up over time. They give artists and publishers quarterly reports of everything. I've only done this for a band once. I don't really check everything too often, but it definitely does give a cool breakdown of. It also shows you like where your music is being played and how much, and that's also really, really great, useful information for musicians. Even if they're not making a ton of money off of it, they can see where they're more popular and where to plan to tour to next.
That's awesome. That's you just gave me a lesson. Like, I feel like I just walked out of a temple classroom and I understand something a little better now.
I just graduated and maybe now I should be a teacher. No, I'd be a no.
So you would highly recommend that all bands. Do you encourage the bands that you guys sign and get onto? Hey, have you signed up for your ASCAP? Have you signed up for BMI? Do you guys actively ask these bands out or help them sign up for those services?
I definitely try and make sure they are registered.
Because I would think that would, with what you're telling me, I would think that would make your job a little bit easier too, to be able to say, oh, you need to hit this market. Like,
right. Yeah, I definitely, not for Lockjaw, but I have helped artists in the past make the right move to different, to a specific PRO. There are organizations and people that do just that for a living, because for the right artist, or for specific artists, it could be monumental in their career to make the right move to a PRO.
Wow, that's crazy. So the other thing that I have questions about is the touring aspect. So you're helping these bands book these tours. Is that difficult? Is it?
It can be, yes.
Do you have has it taken you? I guess what I'm guessing is that you've built up a network from all the years that you've been doing this.
Yeah, since I put on local shows and promote local shows, I've had bands now from starting all over the world to hit me up to put on shows. I just recently had a band from Italy contact me. I'm working with a band from France in October that I'm really excited about. So I have connections. My strongest connections are, of course, on the East Coast. I also have some really good friends in Montreal who have definitely helped me book shows for artists in the past. So, yeah, I have a network that's been really great to work with. Unfortunately, there are some cities where I don't have as strong of a network as I would like. But, yeah.
Is it hard to develop? Like you're saying, so if you wanted to branch into a new city, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's your go-to move?
this is going to be super embarrassing and give away my secret to bands I want to work with, but hitting people up on Facebook, finding out the local like DIY Facebook group and starting to talk to people. That's definitely been how I've found band shows in so many different cities. Just like becoming a part of that group, looking at where those artists are playing, what type of going to the Facebook event, seeing how many people are attending, how many people are interested, what local bands promote, and everything like that, and just starting to talk to people.
Dude, did you want to say something?
No,
I thought she had that kinetic. I can read your mind. No, so it's funny that you do that because, or that you say that, and that you feel like you're giving away this secret. But I think what I've learned is that you could give that secret away, and guess what? 99% of the people are never going to do it. Like, you have to have that hunger and that drive and that want, and to not just for that one city, but for somebody like you that's doing it across everywhere. You're going to be able to build so many more connections. Like, okay, great, you were able to do something in Chicago, but I've got places in Maryland, New York, I've got it in Buffalo or whatever, Montreal, whatever it is. So I wouldn't say that's like the secret. Plus, you give that little piece away, and then everybody knows she's got more. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a little bit of it.
Oh, there's so much about me you don't know.
Right? But let's say a band's hearing this, they want to get a hold of you. They're like, I can see where where they're going with this, and there's value here. They want to get in touch with you. How do they do that?
You can email Devin or I at our respective email addresses. For me, it is Drea, Drea, at lockjawmedia.com. And for Devin, it's Devin with an O at the end instead of an E or an I.
Do you have to tell people a lot?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I'll, like, go to coffee shops and be like, oh, what's your name? And I'll say, like, Devin. And then they kind of, like, start writing it down and look up at me. And I'm like, with an O.
Okay. That's awesome. Facebook, Instagram, all that jazz.
Yeah, like Lockjaw Media on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter for some good content and tweets. And then we have a website, lockjawmedia.com.
Do you have any events coming up or anything like that? Or do you have anything that you want to plug for any of the bands that that are currently on your roster?
Burned Out Still Glowing just played the Barbary Sunday. Unfortunately, that has passed. But we are working with some really great artists, and we'll have a lot of cool announcements coming up really soon. So definitely stay connected with the page, because I can't say too much right now, but we have some great things happening.
And I'm sorry, just for the record, I didn't ask, who are you representing right now?
Oh, yeah. So currently on our roster, we have Secret Nita's Friends, Manic Pixie, Burned Out Still Glowing. We also have Goddammit and Resilient, Past Life, and I just signed a new PR client, which I guess I can announce because by the time this come out, it'll probably be public information. But we just signed Honey from Pittsburgh. It's our first non-Philadelphia artist, and we're really excited about it.
I'm excited for you. That's awesome. And make sure to check them out. Facebook, Instagram. Make sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I think that's all I have. Oh, Patreon. I just set up a Patreon account.
We don't have Instagram, but we're on the tweets.
Okay, they're on the tweets. I need to do a Twitter. I don't.
If people really recommend, I'm A+ at Instagram, and I'll try to start one.
All right. So
comment. Tell us if Devin should start an Instagram account.
I like it. Check us out on Patreon. I'm doing some packages. You guys can check it out anywhere from $1 to $100 if you want to promote shows or do something. But check that out. And thank you guys. Thank you so much for inviting me into your home. Drea, for inviting me into your home. Drea, not Devin. And to inviting me into your home. I know. I can only do one at a time, right? But thank you very much for having me here. Thank you guys for taking on this interview. I really, really love what you guys are doing. I think it's awesome, and I look forward to seeing wherever you guys are in 5 years. And I hope that's planned. I hope in 5 years we can interview again, and you're like, we fucking did it. So that's what I'm looking for. Thank you so much.
Maybe it won't even take that long. Who knows?
I hope so. I hope that's what it is. Keep doing that. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed that podcast. I wanted to let you guys know that we are on Patreon. That's patreon.com. Basically, what it is you can sign up and you can donate as little as $1 to continue to get this thing going. Allows me to kind of make some business cards to continue handing those out, continue hitting up shows, and being able to bring you this content. You can donate as little as $1. I have things going on where you can get a sticker, a shirt, an advertisement if you wanted me to do one of those for you. But check us out on Patreon. That's patreon.com/No Love Philly. And sign up with us today. You can get exclusive content, stickers, shirts, even advertisements if you want them. But hit us up and see us there. Thank you.